We are live in 3, 2, 1.
A cabin in Kane County explodes with several people inside.
Utah is joining a lawsuit with a Native American tribe against the U.S. government.
It's just time that there was the same level of accountability.
A bill aims to hold BYU Police to the same standard of transparency as every other police agency in the state. Welcome to Newsline. It's Monday, February 25th. I'm Madeline Reber.
And I'm Paula Kiko Chandler. A bill introduced at the 2019 Utah legislative session is directed at accountability and transparency at the BYU Police Department. Bella Vaughn is live at the BYU Police Station. Bella, what changes will this bill make?
The bill wants to bring BYU Police into compliance with Utah's open record laws, which all other law enforcement agencies are subject to.
Senate Bill 197 would modify the definition of law enforcement agency to include a private institution of higher education, like BYU. The bill would clarify that BYU Police is a governmental entity, which means the agency would be subject to Utah's record laws. The Society of Professional Journalists has come out in support of the bill. Eric Peterson, president of the Utah Headliners chapter for the SPJ, said it makes sense for an agency with the same powers as other law enforcement agencies to be accountable to the public.
If something had happened at BYU similar to the death of Lauren McCluskey at the U, and there would have been all these people trying to get answers, if that happened with BYU Police, that would be, a closed door completely.
The bill is sponsored by Utah Senator Kurt Bramble. Its timing is relevant because of the ongoing lawsuit between the Salt Lake Tribune and BYU. The Tribune filed a lawsuit against BYU after the university refused to release its records regarding the 2016 rape of a BYU student. The BYU Police Department claimed in court that it is exempt from responding to grandma requests from the media because it is a branch of a private university.
I'm sensitive to the idea that, it is a private institution, but they're in this weird position with having this police force that, should still be accountable to the public at large.
BYU Police did not return my calls for comment. University spokesman Todd Hollingshead told me that they're aware Senator Bramble intended to bring forward this legislation and they're following it closely.
Thanks, Bella. An 8-year-old girl is in the hospital after falling from a chairlift at the Park Ski Resort on Saturday. Park City Mountain says the girl, who is from Alpine, fell from the Silver Dome Express chairlift. The resort says the girl had a seizure and lost consciousness. The girl was taken to a hospital by medical helicopter to Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City. Her current condition is not known.
4 people are released from the hospital after a cabin they were staying in exploded.
Oh my gosh, that's the roof. That's the roof on top of the fifth wheel, huh?
The cabin in Duck Creek County, which is located in Kane County, erupted into flames late Saturday night. Firefighters got to the fire and put it out at 1 a.m. Sunday morning. Sid Trujillo and some guests, including a baby, were inside the cabin when the explosion happened. 4 people had to be airlifted to the hospital. Neighbors and friends helped children and animals in the area get to safety. A road in Woods Cross is now open after being shut down due to a garage fire. The fire broke out yesterday afternoon. It was caused by an unintended fuel heater. There are an estimated $50,000 worth of damage. There were no injuries to the homeowners. One Woods Cross police officer was treated for minor smoke inhalation.
Utah is jumping into a $1 billion lawsuit involving the Ute Tribe and the U.S. government. Newsline reporter Cassidy McKinney tells us why the tribe is suing the United States.
In Fort Duchesne, a reservation for the Ute Tribe of Native Americans. Many people living here believe that their ancestors were wrongfully ousted out of land given to them by the U.S. government in the 1800s. In a historic case, members of the tribe are suing the U.S. Department of Interior to the tune of $1 million in reparations.
The land alone, plus all of those mineral and other resources, are worth a lot of money.
Members of the tribe say that the Spanish Fork Treaty granted the tribe rights to a large stretch of land surrounding Uinta County, given that the tribe relocate out of central Utah. Once the government discovered valuable minerals on the reservation, they reclaimed the Utes' land.
Almost all of the native people of the Great Basin region, after they made treaties with the government, complained that they felt that the government wasn't living up to its end of the bargain.
Ute tribe elders like Forrest Cooch believe that racism is at the center of this land dispute.
We're all Americans, and we need to argue, but we need to stop threatening each other and treating each other as true enemies.
The federal government says that this jurisdiction dispute was already taken care of in a 2012 settlement. Last year, they asked the Utes to throw out the case, but the tribe refused the offer. Last week, Senator Reyes jumped into the case, saying that Utah is very interested in the outcome. Reyes says that there are state interests that need to be protected, which is why he is seeking to intervene on behalf of Utah. Forrest thinks that this is a poor decision on the state's part.
The state's going to lose.
Forrest says he hopes the dispute will end peacefully and that Utahns can learn to accept people as diverse as their state's own landscape. Reporting in Fort Duchesne for Newsline, I'm Cassidy McKinney.
Thanks, Cassidy.
Starting tonight at 8 p.m. near Tooele County, there will be 2 night closures along I-80 on the SR-36 bridge. The Utah Department of Transportation suggests that people plan ahead for rolling slowdowns and minor delays because of the full closure that will go on from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. both Monday night on westbound I-80 and the same for eastbound I-80. Crews are setting girders up for the new ramp bridge at the SR-36 interchange. For more information about detours and different routes, look at BYU's traffic website, download their app, or follow their social media.
Elected officials from cities in the southwest corner of Salt Lake County are floating the idea of splitting the county and creating their own. Representatives from Harriman, Riverton, and West Jordan and Copperton say they don't feel fully represented at the county level. They say their areas lack its share of county funding for transportation, zoos, arts, and parks programs. Harriman City Councilman Sherry Orn and Riverton Mayor Trent Stagg say a bill to split Salt Lake County gives them leverage to be heard. The St. George Regional Airport will close for 4 months to rebuild runways. The runway was supposed to last for 20 years, but will be torn apart just after 8. The runway will be excavated and rebuilt because of unstable blue clay under the airport. Manager Rich Stanmore says that the closure will start May 29th and run through September 26th. The repairs will mostly be funded by Federal Aviation Administration and through federal infrastructure funds.
BYU's Counseling and Psychological Services is instituting a new suicide prevention program. Newsline reporter Lauren Neff is live on campus. Lauren, what is this program?
Well, guys, the new program is called QPR, which stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. The program is meant to help you recognize the signs of someone struggling with suicidal thoughts, know how to respond, and know how to help them in order to save lives. BYU is instituting a new program in order to address suicide on campus. The program, called QPR, is a nationally recognized suicide prevention program aimed at helping you know what to do and say when someone close to you is considering suicide. Dr. Clint Hobbs, a counselor at BYU CAPS, worked on the program at Texas Tech and now heads the trainings for QPR at BYU.
In the wake of the suicide that had happened in December, people realized that they do need to learn some skills here. They do need to learn and have some confidence in addressing this. And that's why I think QPR is really great, is because it's empowering.
Students like Joanna Gurr and Sydney Thompson see the need for more suicide awareness.
Depression and suicide kind of touch some people that I know in my life. Like, we need to really band together as a community and do more to make connections with each other.
The training consists of dispelling myths about suicide, identifying signs of someone considering suicide, and finally offering tools and strategies on how to ask someone the suicide question, persuade them to get help, and refer them to the proper resources.
It really helps people learn how to apply skills that maybe they already possess in a context that feels kind of scary, but doesn't have to.
The trainings last only 60 minutes, and at the end, each attendee has a 3-year QPR Gatekeeper certification.
It's similar to like a CPR certification. So somebody who's CPR trained is trained to intervene with somebody who's in physical distress. Well, this is somebody who's got mental health distress.
BYU has trained nearly 300 gatekeepers, with 300 more expected in the near future.
Having people that are trained to know how to respond in a kind and sensitive way, and where to get people further help when they need it, that's vital in helping save lives. And I really think QPR does save lives.
The next trainings will take place on March 5th and March 14th. If you are interested in attending one of these trainings, you can register by emailing Dr. Hobbs at clint_hobbs@byu.edu. Reporting live in Provo, I'm Lauren Neff.
Young girls are saddling up to change their lives.
Find out how these horses are inspiring hope. A Ring camera catches a mountain lion roaming a neighborhood. See more of the video and find out what happened to the curious cat.
Green Book.
Hollywood's biggest night left people with lots to talk about. We'll recap the winners, the highlights, and most memorable moments of the Oscars.
New footage of a tornado ripping through Mississippi. Meanwhile, we'll talk about the storms coming to our neck of the woods.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. How does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
285 people are injured from clashes along the Venezuela border this weekend. Tensions escalated after Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro severed diplomatic relations with Colombia on Saturday. Food and supply trucks were stopped from crossing the border. The aid came from Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido. The United States are keeping watch over the situation.
In Vietnam, preparations are underway for President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to meet. This is the second summit since their talks last year in Singapore. Trump's top diplomat, Mike Pompeo, says that North Korea remains a nuclear threat to the U.S. Despite that, the president says he sees eye to eye with Kim and won't rush anything in his talks. The trade war between the U.S. and China could be winding down. President Donald Trump says he's delaying a tariff hike set for March 1st, and he praised the recently extended trade talks at an annual meeting of U.S. governors in Washington. Trump says he hopes to finalize the trade deal with Chinese President Xi Jinping in a summit at Mar-a-Lago. For its part, Chinese state media is reporting substantial progress in trade talks.
A mountain lion is roaming the streets of a Sacramento neighborhood is caught on camera. The 100-pound mountain lion is caught on a Ring doorbell around 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Police urge people to stay inside as animal control and California Fish and Wildlife crews rushed to the area. The curious feline went back from backyard to backyard, making it difficult to capture. Officials were finally able to tranquilize it, and it will be released back into the wild.
Green Book won the Best Picture at the 91st Academy Awards.
It was a historic Oscar night and with no host and an emphasis on diversity. Natasha Chen brings us the highlights from Hollywood.
It was a night of surprises with major upsets in two of the biggest categories. Green Book took home Best Picture over the much-favored Roma, and Olivia Colman won Best Actress over Glenn Close, who is now the most nominated actress in history with no wins, 0 for 7.
Glenn Close, you've been my idol for so long, and this is not how I wanted it to be, and I think you're amazing. I love you very much.
It also may have been the first Oscars in 30 years with no host. But the Academy rocked the opening with a performance by Queen and Adam Lambert, bringing people to their feet. The show also tapped popular comedians.
We are not your hosts.
To present awards.
That's my favorite.
The Academy seemed determined to part with its Oscars so white criticism from years past. Women of Color won in categories of Best Animated Short, Production Design, Costume, Makeup, Documentary, and Documentary Short. And 3 out of the 4 major acting awards went to people of color: Mahershala Ali, Regina King, and Rami Malek.
I am the son of immigrants from Egypt. I'm a first-generation American.
And while Roma did not win Best Picture, Alfonso Cuarón was honored with Best Director and Best Cinematography.
As artists, our job is to look where others don't.
In Los Angeles, I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
The Oscars wrapped up last night, and viewers took to social media to voice their reactions. Green Book is trending on Twitter right now because some people think it's the worst Best Picture Oscar winner in more than a decade. Other trends include hashtag Oscars in 5 words. Let's take a look. Another Green Book tweet with Chandler Bing saying, really? Green Book won Best Picture? Here we have one commenting on Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's performance, saying they're far from the shallow now. Great chemistry they had on stage. Here we have Olivia Colman, who stole the show with her great speech, winning Best Actress, where she blew a raspberry when people told her to wrap it up. And Into the Spider-Verse friggin' won. A great night for all superhero movies, including Black Panther. We have another tweet here where it said superheroes ruled over the night. Black Panther won for Best Costume Design. And here we see Chris Evans helping Regina George up the stage like a true superhero, as it says Captain America being a gentleman. Here we have Rami Malek falling, saying another one bites the dust. And finally, we have Melissa McCarthy but then there was this when she was awarding Best Costume Design. Make sure to check out Twitter for the shortest and funniest recap of the big night. Back to you.
A program called Bridle Up Hope is helping young girls and women get a chance at new life through horseback riding. Newsline reporter Lauren Schofield went to Bridle Up Hope stables to check it out. Lauren, how does this program help young women?
Bridle Up Hope is helping women to overcome their struggles, not only by teaching them to ride horses, but also by helping them learn the principles from the famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
I didn't want to hurt myself, but I didn't want to be alive anymore.
I was desperate, really, as a mom, to help her find something that could help her in her everyday life.
My birth parents were drug addicts, and I experienced a lot of trauma when I was younger, and I was bullied through elementary school, so I had a hard time getting past that.
Both Ella and Sarah experienced struggles of their own until they found Bridle Up Hope. Bridle Up Hope started because of a girl named Rachel Covey. Rachel battled depression but found hope in riding horses. She even taught others to find hope and fulfillment in riding horses. In 2012, Rachel passed away, but her legacy lived on when her family decided to create Bridle Up Hope. Women not only learn to ride a horse, but also to care for horses during private lessons with an instructor.
Just hop on and then I'll adjust the stirrups.
The women learn principles from Stephen R. Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that they can apply to real life. These lessons aren't just therapy. They are a life skills program.
My life completely changed. I did a 180 while I was at this program.
Not only the habits, but finding a new passion, which is horseback riding, and just becoming a new version of myself.
Sarah said that she was looking for healing. Because her life was really hard. And we have found that. She's found that.
Bridle Up Hope also has program locations in the Netherlands and West Indies. They plan to expand to 1,000 more barns to make a bigger impact on women throughout the world. Back to you, Maddie.
Thanks, Lauren.
The Le Femme de Velour annual female artist showcase is in full swing. Newsline reporter Mary Wall has a behind-the-scenes looks of the event.
Yes, we're here outside of the home where one of the bands practices. There's about 2 hours until the show starts, so let's go in and get a closer look.
Cherish DeGraff and her band are practicing one final time before they play in the Les Femmes de Velour 2019 showcase. As one of 16 female-led bands to perform over a 4-day period, they are excited to take the stage at Velour.
I think it's going to be really good. We've been working really hard, so I'm excited to see how it all turns out.
After practicing through their set, DeGraff and her band are ready to head to the venue. Now that band practice is over, musicians are inside setting up. Fans are already filing into the venue, ready for a night filled with girl power. As the show starts, female-led bands begin rocking the stage. Les Femmes de Velour was started in response to the music industry being dominated by men. Both locals and non-locals come to Les Femmes de Velour to show love and support to female musicians.
Promoting them, I know we've got a lot of really cool women artists in the Provo scene, and it's cool to showcase all of them.
Ranging from punk bands, rock bands, folk bands, and pop bands, Les Femmes de Velour has it all. The musicians keep the audience on their feet and bring the community together.
Camaraderie that everybody's coming to support each other.
As the show comes to a close, the audience members and musicians begin making plans for Les Femmes de Velour 2020.
All of the performances were absolutely amazing, but if you missed out, don't worry. There's one more show on Tuesday night here at 8 p.m. Tickets will be available at the door, so come on down, get your girl power on, support local musicians. Reporting for Newsline in Provo, I'm Mary Wall.
New camera footage of someone who was in Columbus when the tornado ripped through the Mississippi town. You can see the doors rip open and the customer fleeing to the back of the convenience store. Then just a few moments later, the lights flicker and then the power goes out. Today, the residents of Columbus work to rebuild their town. Meanwhile, here in the greater United States, we can see that the weather is going to be kind of cool, but then it's going to kind of shift up. We're going to get kind of this warmer front, but then just a little bit later, the cold weather is actually going to start pouring back down. So we're going to get kind of this tide effect. It's going to get warm, it's going to get cold, and then it's going to get warm again as things go. But today, we're on a warm trend. So as we look at our highs for the day, we can actually see Salt Lake City is all the way up at a 50 degrees, and St. George is at 55. So that's pretty close, especially for being so far apart. Meanwhile, Provo's down 6 degrees from there. Price is at 34. Vernal's still pretty chilly at 32. Blanding's at 34. Wendover, though, is all the way up at 52. As we go to our lows, Salt Lake only drops about 8 degrees and is still in the 40s. St. George actually drops lower than that, going all the way down to 33. Provo's at a 35, 17 in Price, and Vernal's at 11. So those places are going to be cold, so make sure you bundle up whenever you're there. As we go to our 5-day forecast, we can see that in southern Utah, we're going to have clouds all week ending in rain, but the temperatures are going to be pretty good. 60s all the way up until Friday, Saturday. It might drop it down a little bit lower than that for the highs. And then northern Utah, we're looking at cloud cover and rain, so make sure you keep that in mind. We'll be right back.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
It was a huge weekend for BYU basketball as they faced off against conference rival and number 2 ranked Gonzaga. BYU came into the game with high hopes and was able to keep the game relatively close in the first half. The Zags, however, were able to hold the Cougars to only 30 points in the second half and take home the win, beating BYU by 34 points. This is BYU's second straight loss, and the Cougars now sit at the third spot in conference play. BYU hopes to bounce back for their last game of the regular season against San Diego this Saturday. Week 3 of the Alliance American Football League began this Saturday with Utah's newest professional sports team taking the Salt Lake Stallions and the Arizona Hotshots.
That's Pearson L breaking a tackle, touchdown Stallion.
That was the first touchdown ever at home for the Stallions. In their first 2 games of the season, the Stallions lost on the road, making this a big win and hopefully a change in pace for the rest of the season. The Stallions will stay home this week as they face off against a tough Orlando Apollos team who remains unbeaten on the season. University of Utah student Ronnie Remy competed in the Alpine Combined event at the World Cup this past weekend. Remy earned herself a silver medal by posting a combined 15.58 seconds, just 0.38 seconds behind the gold medalist Frederica Brignoni. Remy is only 23 years old with hopes to compete in the 2022 Olympics. Yesterday, Nike released a 90-second ad titled Dream Crazier.
A woman running a marathon was crazy.
Officials tried to pull her off the course.
A woman boxing was crazy. A woman dunking? Crazy.
The commercial was debuted during the Oscars last night and features clips of incredible female athletes like Lisa Leslie and Simone Biles in their most memorable moments throughout their careers. Serena Williams narrates the ad, taking negative portrayals of women and turning them into motivational statements. This ad is a sequel to Nike's controversial Dream Crazy ad with Colin Kaepernick last year. It was a super great ad, motivational, inspiring, all sorts of things. What were you guys' thoughts on?
I love seeing the first woman run the marathon. I thought that was really touching.
Yeah.
I was really inspired by the video.
I really liked the fact they showed kind of the emotional impact on the women as they were going through. Kind of hit me.
I teared up.
Yeah, it was great. It was absolutely amazing. We'll be right back. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll be right back.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Get ready for Orange Vanilla Coke. It's the first new flavor for the company in 10 years. Coke says Orange Vanilla has already been released in Canada and people there love it. The company says a zero sugar version of the Orange Vanilla Coke will be available soon. Keep an eye out for special promotion cans. The company was considering other flavors including raspberry, lemon, and ginger, but the clear favorite for testers was Orange Vanilla.
It's because it's a dreamsicle.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Who doesn't like Coke?
Thanks for joining us today for Newsline.
For more information or to check out our stories and share them with your friends, you can visit us at universe.byu.edu/Newsline.
Have a great day.